Good morning, everybody. All right, so we're going to do a little bit more shoulders, shoulder-ish area, I should say, and bicep, tricep exercise. Slightly different setups, some familiar moves. I'm doing this a smidge earlier. Oh, the sun's a little brighter. Yay. So hopefully you guys get the gist. There's a lot of sun right where I'm going to be. Anyway, so we're going to start with a couple of shoulder moves, like I said, shoulder-ish moves. I'm going to do a front raise first. So just make sure you've warmed up everything and you feel like you've got some joint mobility going on before you start working on the shoulder, right? So that means doing some of those overhead rotations, some band pull aparts, just to get some movement in the shoulder joint before you get started on these. And if anything doesn't feel right, maybe just don't do it. All right, so we're going to do a front raise. So getting the hips underneath you, just making sure you're nice and steady, but obviously do this seated as well. And you want a pretty light band. You're not going to feel much tension at the bottom, and that's not really where most of the work is done. You want to get that shoulder set back and down, raise up to shoulder height. At the top, see if you can get that shoulder roll down and back, and then lower with control, right? Because the band is going to try and pull you back down. Try and fight that resistance to get a little bit more work. Obviously, you can do this with a light weight as well. And just the nature of shoulder exercises, they can get pretty burny, pretty fast. That's okay. This is the nature of that muscle working, but you shouldn't feel any sharp pains or major discomfort. And again, shoulder exercise is not one you want to like bang out a ton of reps on. Like, it's okay to do a little extra biceps, triceps, right? Knock out a few more squats and stuff. But on the shoulders, not necessary. You don't want to get to that point where you're fatigued and possibly can injure yourself. So same thing on the second side. At the top, again, rotating that shoulder back and down. This is my easiest side. I'm going to focus a little bit more on making sure I'm still keeping it nice and slow, even though the movement feels significantly easier on my right side. Right, so taking the time to stabilize at the bottom, stabilize at the top, nice and controlled back to the return. And so you should feel this mostly in the front side of the shoulder, maybe a little bit in the top and outside of the shoulder. If you're really rolling that shoulder blade back and down and stabilizing, you may feel a little bit of work in the back too. All right, next one, we're going to change our grip. So this is really works the upper part of the chest and a little bit of the front side of the shoulder. So this time you're going to change your grip. You're going to be facing the resistance band. And you're going to change your grip to underhand. So same thing though, shoulder rolls back and down, squeeze up, set the shoulder at the top, control the way back down. I like about a 45-degree angle, so my elbow pits maybe just a little bit turned in. It kind of helps find that activation. If you open your palm, again, a little bit more activation. You want to feel like this upper part of the chest muscle kicks in. And again, finding that pause right there at the top, so you feel that muscle kick in, getting that shoulder set. So this one, I think, really about connecting at the top. Feeling that squeeze, that connection. So you got to find that pause, right? So don't just kind of, obviously not the point, right? Up, squeeze, find that muscle, down with control, up, squeeze, find that muscle, down with control, keeping the shoulder back and down, even though that elbow pit's not rotated all the way out, right? Doesn't mean that the shoulder itself can't be supported, and back it down. That's just what kicks on that sort of upper chest muscle. Almost like you're serving up a tray straight in front. So, 10 to 12 is plenty on those. Make sure your resistance stays pretty light. Again, sort of subtle movements on both of those. All right, the next one we're going to do is a variation on a bicep curl. We're going to do supported bicep curl. So in the gym, you might use one of those bicep curl benches or whatever. Obviously, I'm going to guess most people don't have that at home. So I'm going to use the stability ball. I'm going to set up so that my elbows are slightly in front of me. Right, I've got to really brace my core so that the ball doesn't move underneath me and my body can stay stable. So keeping the core rigid, shoulders still rolled back and down, and curl up and down. Again, slow on the way down. And you should feel a little bit of core kick in because the ball and your torso, especially if you're using decent tension, is going to really want to pull forward. And this is because we're not getting any movement anywhere else, right? We're not standing, right? A lot more concentrated work on the bicep. So give that a try. Last but not least for the day, tricep extension or skull crusher on the ball. I'm going to use the resistance band again. Obviously, use what you have, and you can roll in and out depending on how much tension you want on the ball. So, or okay, so you want your head and neck supported on the ball for this one, as you do with like most upper body exercises you're going to do on stability ball. I'm going to keep my palms facing up, and I'm going to try and start at about 90 degrees, right? The further back your arms are, the slightly harder it'll be, and the more tension the more it requires for the shoulders. Try and keep them about here, right? You don't want to be too far forward either, right? So elbows either right over the shoulder or slightly back. You're going to squeeze the stability band and the resistance band up, and then control the way back down. Keep the keep the glutes lifted and your core engaged. And each time you get to the bottom, make sure you're setting those shoulders back and down. And then really squeeze, find that moment at the top for that tricep to kick in. You start to return right away, you don't get the benefit of really working in that far end of the range of motion. All right, so 10 of those. Both of those exercises super focused, bicep and tricep. And so enjoy. 3 rounds. So maybe 3 rounds of the shoulders, 10 to 12, maybe 4 rounds of the arms, 10 to 12, whatever resistance rate is going to dictate how many you do. All right, enjoy. Have a fantastic day.